Hello everybody, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening depending on where you are in this amazing world. My name is Donovan Jolly, and welcome everybody once again for another amazing video of DIY investing. Bitcoin is now breaking out, which has caused a lot of value to be flooding inside of the cryptocurrency markets. Does this mean that we're bullish or are we bearish? We got a lot of important updates to change you guys inside of my long-term trading plan, and so I wanted to go through, give you guys some updates with Bitcoin in the short term, give you guys some updates with Bitcoin in the long term, and then dive into the Bitcoin dominance because there's a lot of really important patterns that are playing out that I wanted to share with you guys because they're going to perfectly explain why I think that we could be headed to 14K and why I think that we're going to be closing out the end of this year at or around that $20,000 mark inside of Bitcoin. If you're new and just finding this channel, always remember to do me a favor by leaving a like, comment, and subscribing to this channel for more updates. Make sure that you guys click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any new videos like the one provided for you here. And always remember, guys, I have the very best Discord community out there in crypto, and I would absolutely love it if you guys would join. We have over 17,000 members, and it's growing super fast every single day. All you guys got to do to join is to click inside the description of this video, and there you're going to find the invitation link to my Discord server. Now, once you guys have access, I also offer my more exclusive content like the video course and signals. So, if you're somebody that wants to copy my portfolio, follow along with every single trade that I make, so you guys can copy and make the same profits with me, or you would rather just copy my 20 educational videos that are going to teach you guys all of my specific strategies for profiting, then make sure you stay all the way to the end of this video because then I'm going to be taking a couple minutes to explain how you guys can get signed up, the pros of doing so, and what it's going to take to get you guys going today. One final thing, guys, is make sure you download your free copy of my new ebook. It's now published and released for the open market. It's free for anybody that wants it, over 38 pages long, full of exciting information that's going to teach you guys the ins and outs to trading and investing. There's a bunch of terminology that you can go through and study, and then I've also got a 10-part quiz in there so you guys can go through, read all the contents of the ebook, and then quiz yourself on the knowledge learned so you guys fully retain all of that information. Tons of exciting stuff. Once again, you guys can download that. Links are provided for you in the description of this video. And with all that being said, guys, let's jump right into this amazing update today. Alrighty guys, so the first things first, we're going to dive straight into some short-term analysis inside of Bitcoin because there's a lot of really important stuff that's playing out. Now obviously we were watching to see if this bullish retest was going to hold or if we were going to get rejected and fall lower. I had been updating you guys with the potential that I personally saw this as going a little bit lower for one more leg, but Bitcoin has continuously proved me wrong and it's gone up every single time. And this is a really important thing, guys, because ultimately I had cash on the sidelines and I was waiting to deploy that inside of the market on another leg lower. We never got that leg lower, and so now I'm caused to rethink my trading plan and adjust with what the market gives me. And so what we are going to do today is we're going to go through, look at my portfolio, look at my trading plan, and I'm going to update you guys with exactly how I'm going to be trading throughout all of this and really how my trading plan has changed over the last couple weeks. Now, this is the thing that we've been watching for a while. Now, we've got the breakout of our symmetrical triangle here, and we've also gotten the breakout of this major horizontal resistance at 10.5. Now, this was us retesting it as support, and we've got a nice little buyback from that point. Now, I was watching for the potential of us dropping down for one more leg lower, but the way it's looking is it's looking less and less likely that that's going to be the way that it plays out. And so this has caused me to rethink my trading plan. And so let's dive in here to a shorter time frame. Let's take a look at some things because there's a lot of really important updates that I want to give you guys. Because most importantly, anytime the market changes and anytime that you're wrong about something, you have to be willing to do your part to adapt to that change inside of the market so that you can go about profiting it in the most sound way. And so oftentimes you're going to be wrong whenever you're trying to trade or invest into these markets, which is why the best thing that you're going to be able to do is allow yourself the room to change a bias, to change your approach, because this is how you're ultimately going to be profiting. Now, I already managed to buy some during this initial dip. I bought a bunch of Ethereum down here at about $340 when we originally started to sell off. And so really, I had bought some in this dip, and I was just waiting for the potential of it going lower if I was going to buy some more. We didn't manage to go any lower. In fact, we ended up retesting the level that I was watching for. I said, as long as we were above support here at $11,100, this was bullish. If we trended below this, then I was going to be looking to short for the bottom and eventually go to about 9K. And so from here, we managed to retest this level here, we reclaimed it, and now we're getting a buyback from that level. And so this is a really important thing to understand, guys, because right now, where it stands, Bitcoin is bullish. The market structure is bullish. We've broken from our descending resistance, which was right here. We've broken from our horizontal resistance, which was here. And now we're just kind of getting impulses from both of those. And so the more I look at this, the more that I can't stop but thinking that this is actually bullish. Because every single time we've had a resistance, this thing is broken past it. And so now we need to rethink our trading plan moving forward. Now, I have no problem being wrong because I'm wrong all the time inside of these markets. The most important thing is to be able to have a plan in place and trade that plan through. All I was doing was accumulating in the dips. I managed to accumulate this tip. Now that we're breaking up much higher, I really wish we could have got one more low so I could have got filled on some more of my buy orders that I had much lower. But nonetheless, that is fine. And that's just the way that we're going to get it through this cycle. And so I wanted to give you guys this update to understand that I am leaning much more bullish at this point. I do strongly believe that the way that the market structure is looking, it's looking like we're destined for a lot more upside. And in fact, the upside potential seems to me like we're going to be heading upwards of 14K. And that's really just the only thing that I can think of. Now, really, guys, we have to get above this resistance here at about $11,900. If we can get above this resistance, then that's a for sure guaranteed. We have just made a macro higher high, and we're going to go much higher from there. And so really, the last stand, in my opinion, is going to be $11,900. If we can get above this level, then that's going to be a shoo-in for us to be breaking out of our cycle high here at 14K. And so that's what I'm going to be watching out for. Keep in mind, guys, we are still at supply. And so even if we're seeing this pumping market, we still could see Bitcoin stop right here and then fall for one more leg that's going to take us back down to 11,900 before ultimately going higher. I would not be the least bit surprised if we did see one more pullback here, but since the way that the market structure is looking and how it's played out thus far, if we did manage to stop out and we started selling off, I'm actually going to be doing my part to buy a little bit more. In fact, I'd be looking to average into this dip for some of the bags that I didn't get filled with the initial sell-off that I was expecting. And so I did manage to buy some already in this dip. If we manage to sell off from about $11,900, I'm going to buy more because I have a lot more cash that I was sitting on the sidelines waiting to buy lower if we got it. Since it's not looking like we're going to get it, I'm going to do my part to buy up a little bit higher. And so this is just me getting filled for some more of my long-term bags. Keep in mind, guys, that with the long-term, you know, right now where we're sitting at, we're at about the end of October. I plan to be scaling out of my positions at the end of 2021. And so this is really my last opportunity to accumulate for my long-terms. I've already accumulated so much that if I miss out, we don't manage to get the dip, you know, I'm not going to be hurting by any means. And in fact, you know, my portfolio is going up as we speak. And so overall, I can't really see any reason to be too bearish at this point. We're starting to get a lot of impulsing markets. My trading plan has changed because of that, and I do expect that we're going to be heading upwards of 14K. $11,900 is really our last resistance. Once we can break above that level, I think that 14K comes pretty easily. Now, let's talk about something else. And this was actually brought to my attention from one of my good buddies, super good analyst, and I think that everybody should go give him a follow right now. And this is my buddy, Denver Nunley. Now, you guys really should check him out. He's got a lot of really cool analysis regarding Bitcoin. You know, he made some really cool analysis regarding the NASDAQ fractal compared to Bitcoin, something I've talked about on this channel. But I really think you guys should go follow him. He's got a lot of really cool analysis. And he's actually the person that brought this pattern to my attention. Obviously, his chart looks a little bit different than mine, but I've kind of gone through and given you guys the gist of it. Now, really what he's had drawn here is the fact that he's had drawn that this impulse and what we're seeing right now in Bitcoin is just short-term consolidation before we get a big impulse up to that $20,000 mark to close out the new year. And so what I've gone through is each one of these black lines is the new year. We get January 1st here, January 1st here, January 1st here, and then January 1st here. And this is really the way that I've been breaking down these bull cycles inside of Bitcoin because they're very much correlated to the new year reversal points. We can see that we get our first new year reversal right here. Technically, this is November 30th, but it's still close enough that I'm going to count it. So we get the new year here. A year from advance takes us to about right here, which takes us to almost the exact cycle low. A year in advancement from that point takes us to our first macro higher high in the new bull trend. And then a year in advancement from there takes us to the hitting of the all-time high. And we can see that where I've gone through and actually copied the market structure is from the bottom of here all the way up. And this is really where I've gone and copied over the chart because this is the way that the bull runs are working. In the last cycle, we really had 4 years of consolidation where we went from the top of the cycle. A year from that point takes us to the bottom of the cycle. A year from that point takes us to our first higher high on the new bull trend. And then a year from that point takes us to the retest and the breakout of that all-time high. And we can see that we're pretty much following the exact same guidelines today. We get the cycle high, a year from advancement takes us to the cycle low, a year from advancement takes us to our first macro higher high on the new bull trend, and then a year from advancement, I have been very much a believer that was going to take us to that all-time high mark, at or near around that all-time high mark. And so this chart that he has drawn is pretty much perfectly explaining my thoughts, and this is really what I've been updating you guys with. What I've been updating you guys with was the potential that we were either going to get one more corrective move back down, and then we were going to start this pattern, or whether we were just going to start the pattern instantaneously from where we're at. And it's looking like we're getting the pattern from where we're at. We just broke from major horizontal resistance at 10.5. We flipped this level, and we're now getting a buyback ensuing, which makes me feel much more bullish long term. And that's why I personally think that we're going to be heading to that all-time high mark pretty closely. This next move is going to be the one that takes us to the all-time high, which is going to see a ton of new value heading into these altcoins, and specifically Bitcoin. Now, I honestly think that we might see a period of time where Bitcoin is substantially outperforming the altcoins, and this is why we want to be hedging some of our investment into Bitcoin entirely, is because what we're seeing right now is the next major leg up for Bitcoin that I personally think is going to happen and get pretty parabolic. Now, this is going through and actually just taking the cycle of the last one, and what we can see is right here we got this consolidation. Now, during this point, this is where we went up to the all-time highs, and then at this point right here is where we actually got the China ban. China announced that they were banning Bitcoin, which caused a sharp sell-off back down, which immediately got bought up. And so personally, I don't think that we're going to have the same type of consolidation as we see right here, because this is where China banned Bitcoin. That was one of those FUD events where you really can't chart it accurately. It's just kind of there. That's what produced this 20% pullback. Wasn't so much that the price was oversold. It was because China announced that they were banning Bitcoin. And so now with that in mind, I don't personally think that we're going to get the same type of sell-off. Now, this was a big sharp decline that took us all the way back down. I personally think that this would actually just fall back down and retest about 14K if we do manage to get a sell-off that strong. I think that this next move is going to see us breaking out, heading upwards of $20,000 per Bitcoin, and then from there we might get one more sell-off that takes us back down potentially to 14K, but I personally think that the sell-off would come a little bit higher up, something more along the lines of about 17K. That's personally where I'd be looking for support to hold, and that's really the way I'm going to be looking to trade this market. I personally think that I am going to be seeing over the next couple months Bitcoin breaking out of where we're at today. We're going to be flipping, about 12K. We're going to be flipping 14K, and we're going to be heading upwards of that all-time high mark before ultimately we either break out of the all-time high and retest onto the previous high, which would be something like this, and then going higher, or we'll get something like this. We'll hit the all-time high, and then we'll sell off back down to retest anywhere from 17K to 14K. And that's what I'm going to be watching out for with Bitcoin, guys. This is ultimately what I think we are going to continue to see, because I have now structured my trading plan to be more bullish. I think that with us starting to break out, with us starting to show strength like this, now is the time where we want to be looking for the long-term prospect. It's not looking likely like we're going to get that next leg down lower, which is fine. I had extra cash on the sidelines. I really wish I could have got filled on that. But, ultimately, at the end of the day, I haven't sold anything. I haven't taken profits, and I'm still holding long-term. And so my portfolio is looking better by the day. I would just like to be able to accumulate some more, but it's not looking like we're going to get that. So I've changed my trading plan. And I wanted to make sure you guys are aware of this, because when I look at this chart, I see roughly the same type of price action as we saw in the last cycle. We have the 4 years of consolidation, the 4-year bull that I've been updating you guys with, because this is really the way that these cycles accumulate. They go through these 4-year increments. And what I strongly believe is that with us heading to close the end out the year of 2020, heading into 2021, I personally foresaw us being at or near around that all-time high mark. And that's why I strongly believe that we're about to start seeing this type of price action, which is the fun part, guys, because this is really where the bulk of our bull run is going to start. And really, guys, if you look at any of the last bull runs, when we break all-time high, which happens about right here, this is where the bulk of that parabolic move happens. And so we need to be prepared for that. We need to understand that this is what happens when Bitcoin breaks all-time highs, because in my opinion, we are getting really close to that breakout point where the market goes parabolic. And you don't want to be waiting on the sidelines when this takes place. We want to be ready. We want to have skin in the game, and we want to be holding our investments as it starts to break out. And so just understand that, guys. Understand that the big bulk of our bull run is just still in the infancy stages. Understand that when we do start to break out, it's going to happen quick, it's going to happen sudden, and if you weren't ready beforehand, you're going to miss out on the entire move on the upside. You don't want to do that. And so understand that. Just pay attention. Now quickly, let's dive into the Bitcoin dominance chart, because this is really important, guys. What we're seeing is a very obvious accumulation structure. This is a rounded bottom structure. This is also an inverse head and shoulder structure. And when we get the breakout that I'm expecting, we will, here at pretty much where we're at 60.50% dominance, I expect one more impulse that's going to take us upwards of about 62 to 63% before going down for one more leg lower. This is the way that I'm going to be personally structuring my trading plan. I strongly believe that we're going to get a dead cat bounce that's going to take us upwards of this resistance here. And then ultimately that's going to spell one more leg lower before we head downwards of about 53 to 50% dominance. I personally think that this is what's going to happen. Now the reason for this is because Bitcoin is showing strength. Right now, Bitcoin is breaking out. It's looking really strong, and it's looking like we're going to be heading upwards of 14K. And to be quite honest, guys, if we break out of about, $12,000, if we break out of 12K, I don't think that 14,000 is going to provide very strong of a resistance. And I actually think that we're going to be heading upwards of the all-time high pretty quickly. And that's the thing that most people are going to be left in disbelief about, is they're going to expect the Bitcoin's going to have to chop around, it's going to have to wait. But I honestly think that we're starting the bulk of our parabolic rise that's going to take us to that all-time high mark. And so in a big move like this, where Bitcoin is just breaking out, it's not slowing down by any means, that's when we're going to start to see this Bitcoin dominance start to take off. And this is going to cause Bitcoin to outperform the altcoins. I think altcoins specifically are going to continue to go up with Bitcoin, but I think that Bitcoin is going to be going up at a much quicker rate, which is why we're going to see this rise in Bitcoin dominance. But ultimately, I expect that this is going to end the same way all of these other ones have. Rejection, 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 before we fall lower and we find our next support floor down there. That's what I'm going to be watching out for with Bitcoin. Realistically, guys, the bearish market structure has not been broken. Even if we do get this nice little impulse, that's only a good buy the dip opportunity for altcoins. So if you're holding Bitcoin, and you're watching this video, I would expect that as we start to break up higher, that's going to be the moment in time in which people are going to want to start to look for altcoin positions. I'm personally going to be kind of sitting things out for the time being. I do have a bunch of extra Bitcoin that I did accumulate during the initial sell-off. And so when we do manage to get this buyback ensuing inside of the Bitcoin dominance, I'm going to be taking profits on Bitcoin pairs. I'm going to be taking profits on Bitcoin and unloading those into the altcoins, as I expect altcoins to actually outperform Bitcoin once this initial move is kind of ended. And so this is what I'm going to be watching out for, guys. I wanted to give you guys this update inside of my trading plan because it's changed. I'm now leaning much more bullish. I don't think that we're going to get that leg lower. It's still possible, and I'm not writing off that equation entirely, but the way it's looking, we've gotten more bullish price action than I ever expected. And so for that, I would rather, flip my script, flip the bearish sentiment, and then go back to being bullish, because ultimately, guys, I wanted to accumulate at a leg lower. I didn't get that leg lower. And so because of that, I got to rethink my trading plan. I still have all of my long-term bags that I've accumulated, haven't sold anything, still very much bullish long-term, and I'm going to continue to ride this thing out and see where it goes. But with that being said, I expect this next leg is going to take us to the all-time high mark, and that's really going to be where we start to see the bulk of our parabolic move. So be prepared, guys. Be aware of everything that's playing out. If you haven't accumulated crypto, you want to be getting in quick before you get left behind. That's just the way it goes. Remember, guys, if you guys want to join my... Remember, guys, before we wrap things up, that you guys can also sign up and join to my VIP groups. If you guys want to get into this market and you want to know exactly what you should be doing, then the best thing you guys are going to be able to do is sign up for my signals. In my signals, you guys are going to get access to all of the private trades that I post. Every trade that I post, every analysis that I do on any type of coin, I'm going to be posting it inside the signals. And then you're also going to get access to my long-term portfolio. You guys will know exactly what I'm holding, what percentages I've allocated into each crypto. So you guys can build a portfolio, you guys can copy mine, and write it out throughout this next cycle. I also post any new trades that I decide to take inside of the signals as well. So not only are you getting access to my entire portfolio, you're also getting access to all of the new trades that I post in there. And then on top of that, I also am starting to do a new VIP series where I post private VIP videos only mentioned inside of the VIP package for the signals. And so if you guys get in there, you guys are going to get access to my portfolio, you guys are going to know all the trades that I'm taking, but you're also going to get private videos that I only make for my VIPs. And so this is a really good way for you guys to just get into a group that you guys can make a bunch of profit on, and then ultimately you guys get extra content that I won't post on YouTube. And so if this is interesting to you guys, make sure you guys sign up. Links are provided for you in the description. You guys can sign up for my signals, or I also offer my 20-part video series for my video course as well. You guys can purchase them together or separate. At the very least, I think you guys should download my free ebook. My free ebook is linked in there as well. You know, 38 pages long, full of exciting information that's going to kind of break down exactly what my group comes with. You guys are going to know the ins and outs to trading and investing. You guys are going to go through, learn a bunch of terminology that is going to be required of you to learn if you want to be profitable inside of this market. And then I've also got a 10-part quiz, so you guys can go through, take the quiz, learn all the information needed in the ebook, quiz yourself on it, and then retain all of that information so you guys can go about being profitable. Ultimately, whether you guys purchase my video course and signals, that doesn't matter. I think everybody should own my free ebook because it's really got a ton of good information that's going to help you guys, and I spent a ton of time on it. So make sure you guys support the channel, download that free ebook, and with all that being said, guys, I will catch you in the next video. As always, peace out.